BIAL T2 Terminal 2 Phase 1. We have These are our scope of this project. This consists of all civil and structural works, architectural and finishing works, and facade works means facade consisting of skylight as well as the glazing works, and roofing and canopy works, bamboo works, and the one of the highlight of this BIAL T2 project, it's a bamboo ceiling works. In the world, we are the second airport where we are doing this bamboo works, and first one was in Madrid airport. It is located in Spain. And then we have this artscape in our scope, and water feature and millworks as well as supporting structure for bamboo ceiling, and MEP works. MEP works consist of electrical, PHE, FPS, HVAC, and ELV, ICT. And then airport system means BHS work means baggage handling works, passenger boarding works. These all comes under the airport system. And VHT, vertical horizontal travelators. These are all our scope. And other than this terminal 2 phase 1 work, there are some other associated infrastructure facilities like elevated roads and arrival roads, and small structures like utility door, baggage tunnel, it's a MEP services, and cup building, central utility plant, these for MEP works, and then forest belt, and then external utilities and East Gate House. And other than this, related work like coordination with airside and landside contractor for related work. As I said, this terminal 2, it comes under the buildings and factories, so we need to coordinate with the runway team. So that coordination works also, it is part of our scope. And this is our complete layout of BIAL Terminal 2. As you see, Terminal 1, here this is the existing terminal with a capacity of 26 million passenger per annum. And here Terminal 2, as I said, Phase 1 and Phase 2. Phase 1 consists of 25 million passenger per annum, and Phase 2 it's 20. Total capacity of this Terminal 2 it's 45 million passenger per annum. And this is the in blue color which it is highlighted. This is the existing runway which is already been using, and new south parallel runway, this is the new constructed one. In 2019 November this has been inaugurated, and now it is in the operation. And this is the BIAL T2 layout. So this BIAL T2 layout is consists of head house 1 and head house 2, and these are the connecting corridors, blue color which is highlighted, and then north and east piers which is connected to fixed link bridge. And this green is the elevated corridor. This consists of 1.6 kilometer, and in between the elevated corridor and terminal there is a forecourt for departure purpose. And there are, as I said, there are some other infrastructures like ancillary buildings like CUP building, utility door, and then in between forest belt are there, and then connecting corridors. These are the brief executive summary about BIAL T2. And then coming to life cycle of the project. The life cycle of the project, generally a project has a start and end date, and there are a sequence of project that involves during the start to end handing over of the project. The number and sequence of cycles are determined by the management and various other factors like needs of the organization involved in the project, and the nature of the project, and its area of the application. The phases have a definite start, end, and control point, and are constrained by time. The project's life cycle can be defined and modified as per the needs and aspect of the organization. The life cycle provides the basic foundation of the actions that has to be performed in the project, irrespective of specific work involved. As you see, this project maybe will come, and once after this bidding everything is there, once the project start means this planning plays a major role. Even before starting of the project, We will be having some strategical planning, and even after starting of the project, we will be having that executed planning will be there. So here, planning is like a backbone of the any project, and of course, execution is also a major place. But here, to execute the work, we need a strategic planning. So that is the reason planning plays a major role in any of the project. And of course, in our engineering, we may study more about technical things like survey, estimation, all those transportation. But when we come to the construction industry, that to the planning, it mainly focus on the management fundamentals. As I said, it mainly focus on planning, scheduling, costing. And next, coming to characteristics of the project life cycle. Project life cycle has four phases. Start from the initiation, then planning and execution and closing. Closing is nothing but handing over. The initial phase, it's nothing but starting of the project. It includes from the bidding of the project. Suppose this name and authority of the project sponsor, concerned stakeholders, and this initial phase have a measurable objectives and success criteria, and it elaborate project description, conditions and risk as well. And initial phase have a project purpose, vision and mission. And then coming to the planning phase is nothing but organizing and preparing. And this organizing and preparing how we are going to organize and how we are going to execute our plan in a phased wise manner. This is called the planning phase, and it involves strategic planning and implementation planning. Strategic planning, it starts before starting of execution, and execution phase, implementation planning will come once after the execution phase starts. And next, coming to the execution phase. Execution phase is nothing but carrying out of the project. Once bidding started, if it is finalized, then planning phase will come, and then execution phase. In execution phase, the decision and activities defined during the planning phase are implemented. Of course, there are some technical parts will be there that we are not going to discuss here since it is completely about the project fundamentals. And then termination phase. Termination phase is nothing but the closing of the project. This is the last phase of the any project, and it marks the official closure of the project. When it comes to the any project, the main objectives of the project is cost, time and scope. These are all the main objectives. This was defined before that, but when actually if we come to the project, there are other objectives which we need to fulfill uh, to complete the project. And of course, there are several constraints which is interlinked with all these things. Say example, cost, time, and scope which I have highlighted. There are other criteria like safety and quality, which is plays a major role in any of the project. These are also one of the objectives in any of the project. And coming to the project planning. Project planning as defined is the determination of the project objectives, as I explained in the previous one, with identification of activities to be performed, methods and resources to be used for accomplishing the task, assignment of responsibility, accountability, and establishment of integrated plan to achieve completion as required. So planning role here is to achieve the project objectives, like to complete the project within the time, within the scope, and within the budget. This is what the first primary objectives of planning, and these things can be achieved by identifying the activities which is to be performed for the project and what are all the methods which is going to implement, and the resource, what kind of the resource which is going to use for this project. So these are the things which is mainly linked to the planning, strategic planning things. and the action which we take to perform these things, which mainly depends on your scope of the project. And then importance of planning. Importance of planning means measure twice and cut once. There may be a R&D. We will try option one, option two, option three, which is feasible. That will be identified from that thing and will be finalized. That is one thing we measure twice and cut once, which is the best for this in terms of cost, time, and quality. That will be picked from that, and that will be executed. And planning and execution, there is an inverse relationship between the planning and execution. And managing risk. Managing risk may be like during the execution or before the execution, what and all the risk. This risk will be identified based on the previous project experience um, as well as our expert experience. We will take it and we will try to minimize this risk to achieve our target goal. And as I said, this planning it starts before signing of the contract. And once the project is approved to move forward based on business case, statement of work, or project initiation document, we move into the planning phase. During this phase of the project management, we break down this larger project into smaller tasks. Build your team and prepare schedule for the completion of assignments. Create smaller goals within the larger project, making sure each is achievable within the time frame. Smaller goals should have a higher potential for success. So as I said, project is same for all, be it commercial, residential or airport project. But the way we carry out that differentiates like the project things. Here when it comes to the airport project, we will be having a huge resources in terms of labor, in terms of staff, in terms of materials. So the way we handle that is what is represents the planning work here. Sure, and next coming to creating a project plan. Identify the project timeline, including the phases of the project, the tasks to be performed, and possible constraints. This is nothing but the scheduling portion. When we start the project, first we will identify the duration of the project. As I said, this BioT2 it's a 30 months project. So 30 months project, we will just break down those 30 months into the like civil for how many months we need to complete, then MEP, then finishes, then airport system. That is breakdown we will do first, and then tasks to be performed. So which task when to be performed, that needs to be identified, and possible constraints. Possible constraint any for example any approval for this thing. All these constraints we will identify before starting of this project this thing. These are all the part and parcel of this project plan. And then coming to the workflow diagram, creating workflow diagram, visualize process using work breakdown structure to make sure team members clearly understand their role in a project. And then estimating budget and creating a financial plan. This estimating budget and financial plan is one of the important. It's important in any of the project because as a contractor, we majorly work on the cost and it depends on our total gross margin of the any project. So this estimating budget, it's a very important role in any of the project. So this cost estimate we calculate to determine how much to spend on the project to get the maximum return on investment. Maximum return on investment, it's nothing but is our profit. And then gathering resources. Gathering resources is nothing but building a functional team from internal and external talent pools while making sure everyone has the necessary tools like software, hardware, etc. to complete their tasks. And then anticipating risk and potential quality roadblocks. Identify issues that may cause project to stall while planning to mitigate those risks. and maintain the project's quality and timeline. And then holding a project kickoff meeting and bring team on board and outline the project so they can quickly get to work. So these are all the planning phases. And planning phase, it consists of this work breakdown structure. Work breakdown structure is nothing but work. It's a physical or mental effort to achieve an objective or result or deliverables breakdown to divide into deliverable components and then structure, something arranged in definite pattern of organization. So WBS defined as deliverable oriented hierarchical decomposition of work to be executed by the project team to accomplish the project objectives and create required deliverables. It organizes and defines the total scope of the project. Of course, as you see this work breakdown structure, initial goal is that will comes under the level 1, and then the objectives of the milestone. Here milestone defines milestone is nothing but the subgroup of this project goals. What are all the, say example, milestone is completing the civil structure works, that may be one milestone, and then completing the MEP service works, that is another milestone. These are all uh, put together will helps to achieve our project goals, and these milestones will be again subdivided into deliverables. These deliverables is part will have a each task and resource thing, and then it will be divided into work packages. And these are all the hierarchical breakdown. First level it defines project, and second level it defines major and supporting deliverables, and level 3 defines lowest management responsibility level. Here our management responsibility level lies with level 1 and the level 2. Level 3 is completely under execution. And then a work breakdown structure subdelivery includes the outcome of more than one work package from perhaps 2 or 3 departments. Therefore, subdeliverables do not have a duration of their own. Subdeliverables do not consume resource or cost money directly. Intersection of work packages and organizational unit creates a project control point, and this cost account integrates works and responsibilities. And this is how the WBS in any of the project. Generally, MSP Microsoft project will be used for this scheduling purpose. Since in some of the project there will be a specific conditions will be there, we have to use this Primavera. Okay? So in airport project we are using Primavera 6 tools for scheduling purpose, and WBS will be defined in this way. First is acceptance criteria, then scope baseline, and then work breakdown dictionary, and then project scope, and then contract agreement this thing, and then preliminary project scope statement, and then project character. Project character defines all the activities which needs to be executed level. So those are the things which will comes under the project planning. And then coming to project scheduling. Project scheduling refers to sequence of activities in any project. So there are two types, there are two techniques in the project scheduling. One is non-networking techniques and networking techniques. Here non-networking techniques have a two types. One is Gantt charts and objective chart, and networking techniques have a AOA network and PDAON network. I guess you guys might have gone through all these things. In general project scheduling, we use Primavera as well as the Gantt chart generally will be used in MSP as well as in Primavera 6. This is just a schedule brief of this terminal building. Uh, as I said, initial stage, which consists of design and bidding, that will be around 3 months, and then design is around 6 months, and then structure duration. So this schedule brief will provide the total duration and milestone achievement details. As you see here, execution phase consists of structure, envelope, finishes, MEP, airport system, and testing and commissioning, RAD support, and handing over. So all these put together, it is a 30 months duration. In this duration, what and all tasks to be performed will be defined in the primary schedule. And this is just one sample of the project milestone, how it generally looks like. Here milestone, as I said, it's in the level 2 of this work breakdown structure. It defines like completion of GFC design is as required to support the construction schedule, and then completion of GFC design and completion of civil works and completion of arrival level, completion of all works under apron PQC, and complete roof structure and coverings, facade watertight. These are all the project milestone of this BIOT T2 project. And then coming to the project costing. Project costing, it is nothing but the total expenses of the project which we are going to incur. And before going to this project costing, I just want to brief about this cost. First thing, cost refers the amount of expenses spent to generate product or any services like construction. Cost refers expenditure that may be actual or nominal expense incurred to generate output. Cost is the value of economic resource used as result of producing or doing things. Cost has many meaning, but in management, cost refers the expenditure, not the price. Expenditure means that includes the price of the goods, whatever. The cost which we are going to incur to get the final product is called as the expenditure. As a project professional, we use cost information for taking decision or making plan, programs, and policies and strategies. Then coming to the cost engineering. Cost engineering is it audible to everyone? Am I audible to everyone?
Yeah, yes, ma'am, you are audible. You can
Yes.
continue.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then coming to the cost engineering. Cost engineering is the engineering practice devoted to the management of project costs involving such activities as costing, cost control, cost forecasting, investment appraisal, and risk analysis. Cost engineers budget, plan, and monitor investment projects. These are all the roles which where cost engineers do their day-to-day activities in any of the project. And when it comes to the costing, there are three elements in the costing. One is material, labor, and expenses. Material cost, it includes direct as well as indirect. Material is not only the physical part of an asset, but also includes failure costs like scraps, construction formworks, safety items, and logistic costs to transport the material to the workplace. So in this material, there are two divisions. Direct material cost will be there and indirect cost. Direct material cost means directly which is going inside the construction activities. That is called the direct material cost. And indirect means it is just like a supporting activity. That may be transportation. Example, to get that material, we need transport. For shifting of this material, we need the transportation. So that is the indirect expenditure which we are going to incur. And then same coming to the cost, labor cost. Cost incurred for the entire project team from laborer to foreman to project engineer to project management. Again here also labor labors, generally labors means which they are going to do the work at the construction site. They will come under the direct labor cost. And indirect means like say example foreman, project engineers, project manager, they are all the supporting they are the like a service kind of thing. Those costs will come as a indirect labor cost. And then expenses. Other expenses is nothing but the cost categories are required to support the work. Cost expended for equipment, water, electricity, maintenance. Other expenses is nothing but the plant and machineries, which we are going to execute the work at construction site. And then coming to the cost structuring. Cost structuring will help to get clear picture of how the cost is expended on the project, like to understand that is direct cost or indirect cost. This cost structure says that suppose material portion, if concrete we are using. Concrete material, yes, that is a direct cost material, but whether that 100% direct cost material which we are going to use it as a direct cost, or there are some portion like a shifting, lifting, all those things will comes as a indirect cost. So this identification will be defined by the cost structuring. So cost structuring helps in assorting cost elements into direct cost, indirect cost, fixed cost, and variable cost. The cost structuring have a total four types. One is direct, indirect, and fixed cost and variable costs. This will help management to do effective estimation, budgeting, and cost controls. Coming to the direct cost, it is the cost of the resource which is used exclusively for the purpose completing the activities or assets for any given project, and it cannot be shared among other projects. Hence, direct cost is any cost specifically identified with a particular final cost objectives, but not necessarily limited to items that are incorporated in the end product as material, equipment, or labor. For example, for build-to project construction, foundation of PTB, it's nothing but passenger terminal building, includes trenching. Trenching, it's nothing but MEP services which is used in the basement while doing this footing. So this includes formwork, solid blocks and concrete, and the laborer to place and finish the concrete work. So these are all the directly contributable things which is used in the construction. So these things will come under the direct cost. And coming to the indirect cost, it is the cost of resources which is used to support completion of activities or assets for any given project, and also associate with other activities and assets. This indirect cost allocated to an activity are asset based upon the direct cost element such as labor hours, materials, equipment costs, all three. It is also referred as overhead cost or burden cost. Indirect cost is nothing but the service cost. Say example, in any project you take staff, department staff and welfare cost, PF and temporary structure cost. These are all services cost which is indirectly help to achieve the construction activities. It's called indirect cost. And then coming to the fixed cost is also called period cost or capacity cost. Fixed costs are those cost elements that must be provided independent of the volume of work activity or asset production that they support. It doesn't change in short term period or within a relevant range. For example, project setup cost, infrastructure creation cost, and fixed salary, office rent. These are all the fixed costs. This one maybe at present situation this will not vary. Maybe in the future this cost will vary, but at the present infrastructure whatever we are going to do, that is fixed thing. So that is the fixed cost, and characteristics of the fixed cost is unit cost increases as the activities or outputs decreases, and then cost that remains constant even activities are decreased or increased. Cost per unit that increases as activity decreases and vice versa. And total cost that remains constant. And then coming to the variable costs are based on activities and it must be provided and are dependent on the volume of the work activities and asset production that they support. Variable cost can be direct cost or indirect cost. Variable cost should be zero at zero activity and it change directly with changes in activity level in a responsibility center. For example, Direct variable cost is the material used for PTP construction since the amount varies with the quantities requirement. This variable cost is nothing but, say, example, initially my scope of work is 100 cubic meter of concrete I supposed to do, but later, due to some design changes or something, it will go up to the 120 cubic meter. So that 20 is the variable cost, or it may go to the 80 cubic meter, and that minus 20 is the variable cost. So this variable cost, it varies with respect to the scope of the work. An indirect variable cost could be logistic cost in the EPC project. EPC is nothing but engineering procurement construction project. Since it also varies with the quantity requirement and it is considered to be an overhead cost. And characteristics of this variable cost is unit cost remains same and total cost that increases as activity increases and total cost that decreases as activity decreases and total cost changes proportionately with change in output. So it mainly depends on the scope of the work. If scope of the work increases, automatically variable cost will increase, and if the scope of work reduces, again this variable cost will get reduced. And coming to the cost management is nothing but process of planning and controlling the budget of a project. Initially, after starting of the project, we will have a fixed some cost. So, example, 100 rupees is the project value, and 80 rupee, which I am going, that is the terminal cost which we will arrive once after starting of the work. And this cost management, it is nothing but to ensure that whether we are going to achieve this means going to complete this project within this 80 rupees, or whether it is going up or whether it is going. This is what is the management is called cost management. And this cost management is a form of management accounting that allows a project professional to predict impending expenditure to help reduces the chances of going over budget. Cost management can be articulated by using cost elements and cost structurings. These cost element and cost structuring will be useful for, as I said in the earlier thing, cost elements like material, labor, and other expenses, and cost structuring will help to analyze the project costing in terms of estimation, in terms of cost trending, in terms of forecasting, and in terms of life cycle. Then coming to the cost estimation, this tool is used to predict the quantity, cost and price of the resource required by the scope of a project. I guess in engineering we all might have studied this cost estimation. Estimation in terms of quantity you come, and then in terms of cost, in terms of price. And cost estimation is needed to provide decision makers with the means to make investment decision, choose between alternatives, and to set up the budget during the front end of the project. And then prerequisite for proper cost estimation are scope clarity, cost element structure, and historical database. This historical database means in the previous experience. Suppose in the previous project, in the same some of the experience which may use while analyzing this project. So previous historical data plays an important role while doing this cost estimation. And cost trending. Then cost trending, it is useful where the historical data as a basis to estimate the resource cost used to predict future spending trends or to complete the project activities. It refers to historical information to find informations like how much did we spend for, this is just an example, how much did we spend for welding of pipes for the past 6 months and how much inch diameter of pipe being welded. This is just like previous historical data and how much we are going to incur that cost. This is nothing but cost trending. And what is our monthly? site expenses cost for last 1 year. So this will help us to estimate the future expenditure of the project. And then coming to the cost forecasting, it is nothing but in determining required expenditures at the various payment stages of a project. In estimation, it emphasizes on estimating future project activities and assets, but in forecasting, the future cost expenditure will be predicted based on the historical cost performance. So this forecasting phases will come once the project starts and once in the middle of the project. We may suppose if the project completed at 50% and balance 50% is there, that 50 balance 50% that we will estimate and we will forecast it whether this 50% will be completed within our budget or whether we are going to incur more than that. This estimate to complete will be forecasted based on or as I said based on the previous historical data. And then coming to the life cycle costings, life cycle costing means it is the cost of creation of project assets and maintaining asset throughout its life cycle, including the disposal cost. Generally, this phase of costing will not come into short duration of the project. This is anyway at the end of the project only. This phase of the costing will come, and life cycle costing enables decision and acquisition, maintenance and refurbishment or disposal to be made in the light of full cost implication. So this life cycle costing will include design, construction, operation and maintenance and disposals. And coming to the project quality management system is applicable all over this. It starts from the design quality plan. Uh, it defines sequence of design development, design approval process flow, and then control of design and development changes and documentation management. And coming to the quality management plan addresses requirements of ISO 9001-2015 and extent of control over subcontractor or vendors, identification and depositioning of non-conformities and internal audit process, inspection process, and then it is construction quality plan elaborates work procedure of critical activities, inspection and test plan, quality control points and test frequency, and responsibility. Responsibility is nothing but the organization chart, like who is going to do what. So this responsibility will be defined in the quality management system. And material handling means once we receive all materials, be it for the construction or MEP work, that handling procedure, everything will be defined in the quality management system and inspection report as per the QMS. And interface management plan elaborate. Interface management, it is nothing but the interface between the civil MEP and finishes. And area of interface issue resolution, flow and interface meetings, forms and formats. And quality process start, this is what it start from the quality policy, and then quality policy describes the quality objectives that involves the project quality plan. This is based on the customer requirement or the specification as well as the preventive measures and continual improvement. And this PQP will be used for the resource mobilization, and it starts from identification of requirement and training, and then coming to the execution or commissioning. This PQP will be used for material or method statement approval, and then three-tier material inspection and stage-wise activity inspection, and then internal audit and management information system. So these are all the part of this project quality plan that will be used, that will be of these quality objectives. And then finally, coming to the management review and corrective action. Once after completing all this process, then it will go to the customer satisfaction or customer feedback process. If suppose if any changes means again they will start from the quality objectives and PQP. And these are all the activity quality control. Start from method statement, preparation as per the contract specification, and then it goes to the customer review for approval, and then kick-off meeting with stakeholders and mock-up for critical activities, and then execution as per the established procedures, and then inspection at control and hold points, and then if any correction, again it will go. If it is okay means they will go for the final execution of work. And these are all the small samples which these are all the quality app which we are presently using at Bio T2 project. This quality app will be used for this creating the checklist for any work activities, and any non-conformity report if suppose any work that is half the way they have done and they are not completed. So this is the one app which we use to raise this concern to the particular engineer with all these observations. And coming to that, I would like to play one video about our Bio T2 project. It is just a virtual video. It is not that completed one. Let me play this.
Ma'am, it is audible. You can continue.
Yeah, is video is playing, right? Hello?
You are playing video? Are you playing video, ma'am?
Yes, yes, yes.
No, I cannot see any videos.
One minute. Uh, is it okay now?
I can see the slide.
This video?
No, you have to play the video, ma'am. I can just see the
Okay.
PPT slide.
Okay, okay, let me play that video. Yeah, is it visible now? Is it visible now?
No.
No. Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah, you can play it now.
Is it audible?
No, not it. It has it to start.
Yes, audible,
Means
madam.
Your voice is audible. Please play the video so that we can check whether it is audible or not.
Excuse me, ma'am, no audibles.
sorry, not hello.
Ma'am, your voice is audible.
Okay.
Video is yet to play.
Okay, I don't know what exactly is the problem. I'm not able to, but because here I'm playing, everything is visible. I don't know what is the
I
problem.
just saw the screen at 30th second.
Can you please send?
Yes, madam, it is visible video.
Is it pretty visible?
I can see the just
Video is
yeah
restart the ma'am, please.
yeah I can see the video, ma'am, but I can't see listen to the audio.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Ma'am, you can play it again, ma'am.
Is it visible now?
The first page, Kempegowda International Airport, Bangalore, is visible.
Yeah. I guess there's Is it audible now?
No, ma'am, you can just say behind what it is. We can see the video, the photos of Terminal
Okay.
2. You can just explain likewise.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. This is the total terminal, and what you are seeing is the terminal phase. And these are the templates. For all material calculation. Uh, these are take
Ma'am, please increase the volume of the audio. Can you please increase the volume of the audio?
Okay, fine.
It is feasibly hearing, so.
So that's what that is the maximum volume.
Oh.
Highly. Elevated control. terminal building.
Has Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
Yeah, sorry guys, due to some technical problems, some audio I couldn't play that.
It's okay, ma'am.
Yeah, coming to this actual this, as of now, we are at 50% completion, and this is the actual progress photos, which presently we have completed the civil works and facade and roofing and structural works are in progress. And these are the roofing works with skylights, and this is facade works. It is still under progress. And this is the inside view of this terminal building, which consists of roofing and bells and veils and facade work. And as I said, the ceiling works, bamboo works, it is, we have just started that works and it is still in progress. And these are all the MEP works and airport system works. Yeah, this is all about this BIL-T2 project and about this construction activities. And thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was really a wonderful session we had. Most informative and knowledgeful session. It was actually a great overview on Terminal 2, which was very less known to the transportation engineers and other engineers outside. You gave a
Yeah.
very good the insight of